All right, we're flipping the script a little bit. We're dropping the main event mayhem, which seems a little redundant considering I pretty much repeat exactly what I say in my full podcast, which is why I'm guessing it's not getting much traction. So, another segment idea that I had that I'm going to be replacing it with, and I believe is going to get more traction considering how the counterpart of it is doing, is the top 3 dog of the night predictions for every UFC card. Obviously, if you want to know exactly what the dog of the night prediction is, you'll be able to find that out on my Patreon, link in the description below. Not the Fight Archive Patreon, but my personal archive, my personal Patreon. Check that out in the link in the description below. But every week, I'm going to give you my top 3 selections for Dog of the Night plays. Now, that's not just going to be money line, but that will include totals as well, because sometimes totals are nice or better than some of the money lines that are available there as well, and we can cash on those too. All right. Just a quick background. This year, I am 33-42 on Dog of the Night predictions. That's plus 5.85 units for an 8% ROI. Not too shabby considering that those are just the best underdog that I can pick every single card. Obviously, when you're picking underdogs, it's a little bit riskier than just picking something that you think is more so a lock. So to be, at less than 50% hit rate, but still be at a positive in terms of profit, that's kind of the goal here. Obviously, the goal is to hit as many as possible, but to know that you're getting as much value on some of these dogs and then hitting them consistently enough, even if you're losing more, but still in the profit, that's where I'm at right now and hoping to build on that so that I can bring you guys some great dogs. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. Top 3 dog of the night contenders or candidates for me. We'll start off with the first one with plus 120, Terence McKinney. I feel a lot of people are already kind of writing him off, especially in his last matchup when he was a favorite over a guy in Ismail Bonfim, who in my opinion is much better than Nazim Sadikov. I think that fight just reminded people that McKinney has a horrible gas tank, and I believe that, it's possible. It's always going to be possible in McKinney fights, but it depends on the level of opponent that he has to realize whether he can get off on his explosive quick starts or if he's just going to go out there, gas himself out and get finished. I believe Sadikov is of the category that McKinney will be able to start and finish early. We've seen Sadikov get hurt in the past, and he's faced some pretty questionable competition on the regional scene where he's been able to rely on his wrestling to get out of those bad positions and then eventually get the hand raised and get the victory as well. But McKinney, solid grappler in his own right. I think he'll be able to stave off any of the wrestling attempts coming from Sadikov once he hurts him. And I feel like McKinney is going to do a great job in terms of using his speed and his explosiveness to get that first round finish, something that he has done time and time again throughout his professional MMA career. So I'm going to go with McKinney as my first dog of the night candidate here. Again, plus 120, not a bad line. If you want to just focus in on that round one prop, because he can get a KO or he can get a submission. He's proficient in both finishing methods. I would just focus in on the round one prop specifically, but as an underdog at plus 120, I think he's worth a shot because I believe he should be a small favorite if I'm being honest. Second dog of the night candidate that we have for this card. Money's already coming in on him, but right now you can get him at plus 105. I'm talking about Ottman Azaitar. Similar to Terence McKinney, a guy that is very much reliant on that first round finish. And I believe he has a green enough opponent across from him this weekend in Francisco Prado, who he'll be able to close that distance, crash that pocket, land his big strikes, and eventually find that knockout. I think Prado hasn't fought much resistance on the regional scene, which might give him a little bit more confidence than he should have when he's throwing down in the pocket against a heavy hitter like Ottman Azaitar. Prado, like I said, a lot of his opponents have been intimidated once they step in the cage against a young, hot prospect like him, but not Azaitar. Azaitar is going to go out there and try to rebound from the first ever loss that he's taken in his professional MMA career. And I fully expect him to go out there and do that, land his big power bomb. This ain't wrestling, folks. Big power punch that will eventually get Prado out of there. Again, another spot where you could potentially just focus in on that round one KO prop for Azaitar to get the maximum squeeze out of this matchup. And the final dog of the night prediction candidate is going to be Josh Parisian at plus 130. Earlier this week, he was at plus 170 against Walt Harris, and a ton of money has come in on him to bring him down to that plus 130 range. And I completely agree with that line movement. Walt Harris, similar to the two prior fights that I talked about, or fighters that I talked about, is a guy that's reliant on that first round finish. However, Josh Parisian, tough to put away. Yes, I kind of made the mistake earlier this week on my podcast saying that he hasn't been finished by punches in a long time, and I should have worded that better. Obviously, he got finished by Dontel Mays a couple fights ago on the mat with punches, but what I meant was, getting starched on the feet. It's hard to really land cleanly enough on him to put him out on the feet. You'll have to take him down over and over again, exhaust him, and then get that ground and pound victory. That's what I thought Jamal Pogues was going to be able to do, but we saw great improvements from Parisian there to eventually get the fight back to the feet. Walt Harris, not really his style to go out there and just drag these guys to the ground and try to pound them out from on top. He likes to use his explosivity and his speed and power in the early goings of matchups to starch guys in that first round, but if he's unable to, then you see him start to fall off as he has been in his last 3 fights and during this 3-fight losing streak that he's currently on. So it's going to be a little bit of a nail biter, but I feel like Parisian has the durability to withstand the early onslaught from Harris and then start to take over down the stretch, possibly finish him himself in the second or third round, maybe even pick up a decision victory. But at plus 130, I still feel like Parisian has some value here. And there you guys go, 3 top candidates for the dog of the night prediction for UFC Vegas 77. If you want to know what I went with, check the link in the description below for my personal Patreon page. I've already posted it there, so make sure you guys check it out and get some of that before the line starts moving some more. Appreciate every single one of you guys. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the Locky 2-Step and Locky Trinity free parlay for UFC Vegas 77. Peace.